Welcome into another edition of That's Deep. I'm Tommy Z, joined as always by Johnny Bravo. Coming back from a week off, it was nice to kind of get that free time, but I was missing it. I had a nice card in the pay-per-view, so I wanted to jump right back into it, but a week off is always good. Johnny, how you feeling today? How was your week off?
Oh, week off was beautiful. Just got to unplug and catch up on some TV shows and watch some NBA basketball, and yeah, just ready to go.
Yes, sir. As we record this, the NFL draft is underway. My Giants selected Abdul Carter, so I'm happy. So coming into the pod a little bit excited here. We'll see if they trade back into the first round for a quarterback. I'm thinking they might. But we're here to talk fights, so let's jump right into it. Our first fight on the card is in the women's bantamweight division. We have two women that probably should be fighting at 145 if that was a division anymore. Both have trouble making weight, so it'll be interesting to see what the scales look like. Chelsea Chandler, pretty sizable dog in this one. They both can grapple. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, two girls that like to miss weight. They can't make. I don't think Chandler. I don't think it's ever made this weight, and Edwards isn't too far off. Yeah, I mean Chelsea Chandler, big girl, decent grappling, not the best striking. Famously known for running away from Norma Dumont, my girl, when she was getting punched up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just. I can't really get to a Chandler bet. I mean, I would want to bet her against a girl that's probably going to be undersized and she could be kind of a weight bully. I don't trust her cardio. I mean, I don't know where she's good at. I guess in the grappling, but the cardio is pretty poor. I mean, it's not very good. Yeah, and then Edwards. I mean, Edwards is a great striker. Love her kick, leg kicks. Good striking. Her takedown defense is kind of questionable, though. She can be taken down. So that would be an avenue here for Chandler to have some success, would be to go to the takedowns. But, can she sustain that over 15 minutes? I don't know. And Edwards' get-up game has been pretty decent. We've seen she's kind of improved on it. So, yeah, the pick for me is going to be Edwards. And yeah, probably by decision. I don't see her finishing her. So yeah, it's probably going to be Edwards. Probably a close. I mean, every single Edwards fight is like a split decision, it seems. So I mean, I don't think the split is out of the realm here. I can see it kind of being close. And with these judges, you just never know. So yeah, the pick for me is Edwards. Edwards by decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think like you said, Edwards can be taken down, but she does scramble well, and she does have some nice reversals. So I kind of think that's the way it's going to be. She is pretty big. She's strong. The reversals and just the ability to scramble back to her feet, I think that's going to be enough. On the feet, I don't think Chandler offers much. I mean, she does throw some pretty good power. She could catch her with something big, but, to this point, we haven't seen that. And Edwards is a good striker, so I don't expect that to happen. Chandler is kind of a junkyard dog. I mean, she does get beat up a lot, but she hangs in. So I expect this fight to go all 3 rounds. I expect it to be pretty competitive. But yeah, Jocelyn Edwards probably by decision would be the way I would bet it, or at least over 1.5, just to try to get a better number on it. But yeah, I think Edwards is gonna take this one. Will bring us to our next fight, which I think is going to be actually a pretty fun one. We've got Timmy Kwamba taking on Roberto Romero, featherweight bout. We saw Romero on a short notice debut look really good against David Onama early, had him hurt, went to the ground, probably should have kept the fight standing. He may have been able to get that finish, which would have been a huge upset. But he went to the ground. He tried finishing him on the ground, and the rest of the fight did not go his way. But it was still a good showing for a short notice debut. Taking on Timmy Kwamba, who's, he's a tough guy. He's a tough out. He brings the fight. He's got some pretty good cardio. But to this point, he's 0-2 in the UFC. Hasn't been able to notch that W yet. Fun one here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, Romero, I mean, his debut was pretty impressive. I didn't expect him to come out and, have that good of a performance. It was really the first round where he had a lot of success. He dropped Onama, almost finished him. And then, this guy's a maniac. He walks forward, he throws volume, and, his takedown defense is not the greatest. He can be taken down, but, I mean, he has some grappling in his back pocket. I mean, I think he's probably fairly well-rounded, except he probably needs to work on his takedown defense. I like the style of this kid. He just walks forward, throws bombs, and just keeps coming forward and doesn't stop. He will get cracked. He's been knocked down on the regional scene before, so the chin is hittable. But, I mean, Kwamba is, kind of low-volume technical striker. He has not impressed me so far in the UFC. I guess the Oki fight, I guess you could say that, he fought to a split decision, but I thought Oki won. And as we've seen, Oki, hasn't really developed too much into anything, so I don't know how highly I rate that split loss. So, I don't know. I guess it should be a good, fun fight. These guys should be banging it out on the feet, but you need the guy that just continues to walk forward and puts pressure on, and just the better optics of being on the front foot. And, I like Romero here. I like Romero a lot.
Yeah, same. That split decision was kind of wonky. I don't see where Kwamba won 2 rounds. That's tough. I could see an argument for a round. But he did, he had a good shot. He fought well, he fought hard, but I thought he lost all 3 rounds in that fight. But Kwamba, he's a tough out. He's kind of like that Mitch Raposo. Like, he's going to give you a decent fight, but he doesn't really know how to pull the trigger. He's short on a lot of his strikes. And Romero, like you said, he's just going to come forward. He's got some pretty good power. He's got nasty kicks. And I just think the forward pressure, nonstop action. And despite the fact that, he showed a little bit of a lack of IQ in that Onama fight, I give him a little bit of credit because, it was his debut. He got excited and, these things happen. But, I think overall he's just the more well-rounded fighter. Just got more killer instinct. And I think Romero just pushes forward and potentially finds a finish in this one. But, I think he's a solid play here.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight is a pretty lopsided one on the odds. We've got Jacqueline Emerim taking on Polyana Viana. Women's strawweight bout. Emerim, very good submissions. Cardio, maybe, can be questioned, but Viana has not looked great. She's a very good striker, but the grappling, still something to be desired there. Massive favorite, Emerim here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, pretty straightforward here. Viana, her biggest deficiency is getting taken down and pretty much getting submitted. And that plays in the strength of Emerim. And I guess, on the feet, Viana is going to have a pretty big advantage on the feet. I like her striking. She's a decent striker on the feet. Pretty well rounded, but she sometimes, she'll pull guard and she'll try to go for subs. She is a black belt, but, there's levels to this. And, if she tries to pull guard here and get on bottom and get herself in a bad position, I don't think that would be the smartest choice. So, her path here is to keep it on the feet and piece her up, because I think she has a pretty significant advantage on the feet, but I find it hard for her to stay on her feet because, I think Emerim, she's going to pressure. She's going to come forward. She's going to look for takedowns, and when she gets it to the ground, she's a world-class BJJ champion, so she gets it down there, I think it's going to be pretty hard for Viana to defend anything that Emerim is probably throwing at her. But like you said, the cardio, we've seen her slow down in fights before, but I don't think she's going to really face too much resistance here to kind of trouble her at any, point. I think she's going to probably fight at her own pace and just, eventually find the sub. Yeah, I like the sub here for Emerim. Probably sub one, sub two. So, yeah.
Yeah, not much to add for me. I mean, I think she probably subs her. Vienna, you grab a hold of her leg and she's on the ground. She's just not resisting a takedown at all. Maybe here she'll try a little bit harder because she knows, if it gets to the ground, she's probably in a lot of trouble. So maybe she, has a good game plan and can stuff some takedowns. But to this point, I haven't seen it. She's just she goes down way too easy. So yeah, I think Amarim probably grabs an arm at some point and finishes her in the first or second. I would imagine it would be pretty early. If it's not, it could get a little bit dicey. But yeah, I think the sub is pretty live here. All right, this brings us to our next fight, and this one is kind of interesting to me because first three, I pretty much knew how you were going to look at those three. We saw them pretty similar. This one a little bit interesting here. We got Malcolm Wellmaker making his debut, taking on Cameron Simon, who's been in the UFC for a little while now. He's had, he's looked okay, a little bit up and down, fought some tough guys. But, yeah, I mean, Wellmaker's got some pretty big power. We've seen Simon get touched a couple times. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Cameron Simon, young prospect coming in, training out of the Drickus camp in South Africa. He came in, he looked good, but, I mean, it was against, very low-level competition in the UFC. Terrence Mitchell being one of those guys who is, I don't know how he got a fight in the UFC. Yeah. But, he was being the lower-level competition that he should have. And then when he got the step up, we got the prospect killer and Christian Rodriguez. I mean, he put up a good fight in that fight. He had moments in that fight, but, I mean, C-Rod was just too strong and then gets absolutely obliterated by Peyton Talbot. So, he took a year off. Like, was he improving his game? What did he do in that year off? I don't know. I would guess just go back to work and just try to get better, but we haven't seen him in a year. He's coming back here. I was high on him. I'm still am. He's still young. He's only 24 years old, so he definitely could be making those improvements. And, Wellmaker, I mean, this guy is just, I mean, really sound, technical striker. I mean, I like his boxing. I mean, he's real crisp and clean. When he throws, he lands, and he lands with some vicious power. He's got that knockout, he's got that knockout punch, that can just put your lights out. So, yeah, I mean, I guess he could be grappled. I guess the path for Simon would probably be grappling. I don't know, seeing as how Talbot hurt him in that fight, that I don't know. I could see Wellmaker landing something big on Simon. So, I don't know. The pick for me is going to be Wellmaker here to eventually catch him and put him away at some point, or even win a decision on the feet, just picking him apart, Yeah, the pick for me is Wellmaker.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. I feel like I want to take Wellmaker. I do think he could catch him, but making his debut, I don't know, man. I think Simon, he got cracked by Talbot for sure. He didn't get put completely out. He definitely got hurt a couple times in that fight, and then ended up getting TKO'd. Obviously, it was not a great look, but I don't feel like his chin's, I don't feel like he's a guy you can just easily knock out. He is tough. He is pretty well rounded. He's got the UFC experience. I'm just kind of rolling with the debut fade here. So I'm going to take the shot on Simon. It's a little sketchy, but I do think the kid's talented. He's got pretty good striking. He can grapple. He's got the experience, and who knows? He's, like you said, he's still young. He can improve greatly from fight to fight. Time off, probably a good thing after suffering a TKO loss. So yeah, I'm going to take the shot on Simon. Not super confident, but I do think it's going to be a pretty good fight. And if he doesn't get cracked, doesn't get finished, I think it's pretty much a coin flip. So I'll take the shot here, and we'll see what we get. Our next fight is in the Is this flyweight division? Bantamweight division. We've got Damon Blackshear taking on Alateng Haley. Pretty interesting matchup here. Haley is a strong grappler, doesn't put up a lot of volume. Blackshear is a very good grappler himself. He's got slick submissions. He's got pretty good striking. He's fought some pretty tough guys. They both have pretty evenly matched here. I do think Blackshear might be a little bit more explosive. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Blackshear in his last fight, I mean, I don't think he looked he got the sub. He ended up cashing the sub for us, but I don't really particularly think he looked all that impressive. I mean, Cody Gibson, right, was piecing him up on the feet and like Gibson went for a takedown, and then that's how Blackshear got the reversal and was able to sink in that sub, which was probably, I mean, if he keeps it on the feet, I mean, Gibson looked a far better striker in that realm. So, I mean, but he did get the sub, so, I mean, you can't knock him too much for it. And, you know, it's I question Blackshear's chin. I mean, he has been cracked before. He has been put down, you know. I question his chin. But overall, I think he's a good fighter, but do you feel good laying minus 550 on him? No.
Right.
And I don't know. Alateng Haley is a pretty good grappler himself and has some pretty good defensive grappling himself. So I don't know. It'll be, I don't know if Blackshear can maybe lock in that sub. Maybe he wrestles him and just plays, and maybe he finds the sub. I don't know, because he is pretty wicked on the ground. But Haley, he's got some good grappling in his back pocket, and he's low volume on the feet, but he does pack some power in his hands. So that would be a concern for Blackshear, is if he gets hit flush, because Alateng has some good pop in his hands. But I mean, overall, I think Blackshear gets it done. I don't know if he finishes them or if it's a decision. I'm not sure how to go about it yet. But yeah, the pick is Blackshear. I mean, he's minus 550. I mean, I wouldn't take a shot on Alateng. I don't think he's a good dog shot here. So yeah, it's going to be Blackshear, but I don't know how I'm going to get on him.
Yeah, I think probably looking at the overs is a good thing. The thing about Haley is he just doesn't put up volume. So yeah, he could land a big shot, but Blackshear is going to be faster. The Gibson fight, Gibson's a guy who puts up a lot of volume. He is a good striker. So it's not on the feet. It's not going to look the same because Alateng just doesn't throw nearly the volume that Gibson does. I mean, there is a worry that Haley gets on top of him and, holds him down and just kind of lays there and lands rabbit punches, and you could steal rounds that way. But I think Blackshear will be a little bit too active. I think he will be the faster of the two on the feet. So for the most part, he just kind of has to avoid taking a big shot. And if he does get taken down, don't stay on the bottom. Don't lose rounds. But I think he's just the more active, the more athletic of the two. And, he does have really good subs. He could find a sub here, but Haley's tough, and he mostly goes to decisions. So I would imagine this fight's probably going to drag out a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, Blackshear's a pretty sizable favorite, and I think, he should be favored in this fight. So I like Blackshear. Again, just like you, not exactly sure how to go about it, but I think the fight probably does go long, so maybe looking at the overs.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight is in the bantamweight division, or featherweight. This is a featherweight bout. Two bantamweights fighting at featherweight. This fight was booked previously. I believe Castaneda was the one that pulled out. I want to say with an injury, but I can't remember if it was an illness or an injury.
I think it was an illness.
Well, yeah. So, pretty competitive one here. Gutierrez, nasty leg kicks. I mean, some guys fall in love with the power. Gutierrez, one day he must have kicked somebody and just loved the feeling, because that's what he does. He kicks and he kicks and he kicks, and his kicks are nasty. Castaneda, pretty well rounded. He's got good boxing. He's got the ability to grapple. So this one, I think it's gonna be good. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this one I'm tired of thinking about this fight. I think I've looked into it like 3-4 times already.
Yeah,
Like, just get this fight over with. Gutierrez, low volume striker. I mean, leg kicks is a specialty. Um, yeah, just not really, just kind of a mid fighter. I mean, I don't think he's very good. I mean, I think he's okay. He's like mid tier. Like, he's not going to be anything in the UFC, but
yeah,
he's a mid tier guy that can beat the same kind of guys and fight him to a close decision. Um, yeah, I mean, he's just not the greatest of fighters, but and then Castaneda is the same. He's kind of flaky. I mean, he has some grappling in his back pocket. He's got decent striking. I guess his path here would probably to try to get takedowns on Gutierrez. So, I mean, monies came in on Gutierrez. I think mine was like closer to a pick'em the first time, and I think I was on Castaneda the first time. And yeah, I don't see why I would go away from my initial pick on the Castaneda side, hoping he can get mix in some takedowns and have some success. But yeah, Castaneda for me, but not really too excited for this one.
yeah. I have a slight lean towards Gutierrez. I think if Castaneda does land those takedowns and control, that would be the path. I mean, he's competitive. The fight on the feet will be competitive, but I do think Gutierrez can get those leg kicks going and cause him some trouble. Yeah, I think it's a competitive fight. I was on Gutierrez. I'm going to stay on Gutierrez, and yeah, I think they probably go 3 rounds. So if you're betting either guy, I'd probably bet either one of them by decision. All right, our next fight is in the lightweight division. We've got Evan Elder taking on Gage Young. Young making his debut. He fought on the Contender Series. I believe he lost on the Contender Series and then won a regional fight after that. Evan Elder, he's been kind of hot and cold in the UFC. They're both similar. They both can strike. They're both pretty tough. And they both can grapple. Pretty competitive one here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Gage Young did lose on the Contender Series, but he lost to Quinton Selkilp, who, I mean, I'm pretty high on him as a prospect. Yeah. And, he had a good, I mean, in a loss, I mean, he had a good showing. I mean, he was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns that Selkilp was going for. He was like, I think he stuffed like 10 or 20. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive in its own. I mean, from the tape that I've seen, he's got some decent striking. I mean, he's got power in his hands. He's got grappling. I think the kid can be good. I think he could be decent. But coming in here on short notice against a guy in Evan Elder that, I mean, if he hasn't fought in a while, kind of forgot about him. And, now he's coming back. I mean, I like this guy, man. He's got really good striking, really clean striking, real technical. I mean, has power, good wrestling. I mean, that Sadikov fight, I mean, he was beating the shit out of Sadikov until that cut and that got it stopped. I thought he was winning the fight, and it's unfortunate that it got stopped because I think he would have easily won that fight. I mean, he's looked good since I've seen him. So he's also, he's been off. So I mean, probably, I don't know, maybe injuries he had. I'm not too sure why he was off for so long, but yeah, he's back, and yeah, I think I like his striking, so I think he pieces up Gage Young here. I mean, he'd probably have to stay safe early on in the fight because, who knows if, Gage Young can crack him early, but I don't know how much he's going to have to offer. He's coming in here in short notice, so who knows about his cardio. And, I just think the later the fight goes, I think Elder just pours it on him and probably gets a late stoppage, late knockout.
Yeah, I like Elder here. I think he's just going to be a little bit stronger. And as the fight goes on, I do think he'll probably be able to land some takedowns, get some ground control. His striking is good. Again, short notice debut, tough. It's a tough ask for anybody. So yeah, I like Elder here, and I think it's it'll be a good fight. Young has shown that he's tough. He can take some shots, and even when he's tired, he fights through the fatigue. So you got to give him credit for that. So we could see a situation like that. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a little bit too much for the debut, and I think Elder gets the job done. All right, moving right along here. We've got a battle of the no-chins. We've got Matt Schnell taking on Jimmy Flick. Both guys have been knocked out a lot in their career. Flick's been knocked out 6 times. Schnell's been knocked out 5. Both really good grappling. Jimmy Flick is known for his submissions. Basically, if he grabs a hold of something, he generally finishes it. Usually is losing pretty much every fight he's in until he finds that sub or, gets finished. But, with Matt Schnell, it was a pretty decent favorite here for a guy with a chin issue. Both guys have retired in their career, and, Schnell a little bit more recently, but he's decided to come back. This one should be all action. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, definitely. It's unders. Fight doesn't go on parlays and violence here. I mean, these are 2 guys whose durability isn't the greatest. I mean, Matt Schnell, a gust to win can knock him out. I mean, the guy just has probably one of the worst chins to ever do it. The guy's got a terrible chin. I think me or you could probably put him out easily. Yeah, he is. I mean, Flick doesn't really have much to offer in return. I mean, the striking is dreadful. There's no striking at all. He's got nothing. He's got no power. I mean, there's just nothing coming. Like, it's nothing. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
Except the grappling. That's where he's good at. I mean, that's where his advantages are at in the grappling. And maybe locking in a sub. Maybe he grabs a sub. But I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if Jimmy Flick were to just land on the chin and put him out. It would not surprise me at all. It would not surprise me if he were to catch, Schnell on that chin and put him away. It's probably Schnell by knockout. I mean, I've seen the money line that people are betting Jimmy Flick, which I don't blame you because both these guys are coming out of retirement for this fight, so it's like, all right, well, what do we got here? So this is a tough one, but yeah, I think for me it's probably Schnell and Schnell by knockout. I mean, yeah, I think he's got a big advantage on the feet, and I mean he's got some decent grappling himself in his own back pocket. So yeah, I think
go ahead.
Both these guys are cooked, and but give me Schnell by knockout.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like backing Schnell, obviously, for the reasons we've stated. He can be knocked out by pretty much anything. But like you said, Jimmy Flick, he's got no career knockouts. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have good striking. This one, to me, feels a lot like the Arosa fight last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, where we were worried about his chin as well. But there's going to be no real answer on the feet. Schnell's going to have a huge advantage. He's going to be much faster. If Schnell just, picks and moves, hits and moves, he could just pick them apart and just avoid the ground at all costs. I think he can hurt Flick at some point. And, I think he's just going to be way faster. I mean, you got to give Schnell some credit. He fought Steve Erceg. He wobbled Steve Erceg, which is, not an easy task, but obviously Erceg ended up getting him and knocking him out. But I mean, Erceg is a much higher level. I mean, the guys that Schnell's been finished by are all guys that, were a round away from championship. Royval, not all the guys, but most of them, Royval, Erceg. There was somebody else in there that was a championship level fighter. So he's fought some really tough guys, but the chin is still a chin. It's still a problem. But, I just think Schnell overall, he's got just the better game. He's going to outclass him on the feet. And, as long as he doesn't eat a big shot, which and I don't think Flick has the power to do it. Yeah, I think Schnell actually might look pretty good in this fight. So I like Schnell here. Hard to be too confident in him, but I feel like it's going to be similar to that Arosa fight where he looks a lot better than what we worried about. So yeah, roll with Schnell here.
I'm going to have a lot of parlays probably to the unders and finals
Unders,
here.
yeah, definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight is in the middleweight division. We have two guys that I have no idea where either of these guys is at right now. Got Ikram Aliskerov taking on Andre Muniz. Aliskerov, good power, good striker. Came into the UFC hot. Got some nice finishes against some lower level guys. Muniz is a guy who's he's had some great performances. His submissions are extremely dangerous. His wrestling is pretty good, but he leaves a lot to be desired. His volume's not always high. A lot of times he'll get on top of guys and try to control them, looking for that sub. Aliskerov coming off a big knockout loss, just got crushed by Robert Whittaker with ease. Not high on either guy. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, you can't hold the Robert Whittaker knockout against Ikram. It's just the Reaper. And he came in on short notice, so you can't. That kind of is what it is. Other than that, he's been pretty much. He's won all his fights except the Hamzat fight. Which he stopped all of Hamzat's takedowns, but got starched. Yeah, Ikram, he's decent. It's. He was a pick'em against Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
So it's like.
It was kind of crazy.
Obviously, the books were high on him, so I was all over Whittaker in that fight. But
yeah,
he's got good power in his hands. He's got good striking. He's got that sambo background. So he's got the grappling in his back pocket, but mostly a striker. And that's probably where he's going to want to keep it here on the feet. And Muniz doesn't really have much to offer on the feet. He's pretty much primarily a grappler and a BJJ guy. He's going to look, which he does have he's got some pretty sick subs. And, he has came in before as an underdog, but I just think he's just overpowered here. He's been off for a while. This fight's been postponed like 3 or 4 times as well. We were supposed to see this a while ago, and now we're finally getting it. Or we don't even know if we're getting it yet, but hopefully we get it. And, yeah, big favorite. I seen a little money came in on Muniz. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Ikram, and it's probably Ikram early and probably by devastating knockout.
Yeah, I'm on Ikram here. I do worry a little bit about Muniz maybe getting the grappling going, but like you said, Ikram does seem to have some pretty good takedown defense. And he has lost to some high level guys, so can't take too much away from
Only
him.
2 losses are Robert Whittaker and Hamzat. So
I don't think Muniz is probably the guy that's going to really test him too much. Obviously, Muniz could grab a hold of an arm but he hasn't looked great. I haven't been impressed with him. I'm pretty sure I faded him in his last few fights. Just not high on him at all. I think Ikram is the rightful favorite here. Could knock him out. I think knockout's definitely a good look here. But, I don't know. I do worry a little bit about his confidence coming in. But, again, losing to Robert Whittaker, not the end of the world. So, could be a good bounce back spot for him here.
Yep.
All right, our next fight is in the welterweight division. We've got Randy Brown taking on Nicholas Dalby. Dalby he's a tough out. Randy Brown at times looks like an absolute killer. Other times, he can be a little underwhelming. He's going to have a pretty decent size advantage here. We know Dalby is a dog. He's going to keep coming forward the whole time. It's not going to be like Brown's last fight where Brian Battle just held on to him and pinned him up against the cage. It's going to be Dalby's going to come looking for the knockout and the finish. So it should be all action. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is a tricky one, because I mean, Randy Brown is another guy. Is kind of like, I mean, he's really good and really good and really talented and skilled. Great striking, but I mean, he kind of fights, kind of close to the gun again. I mean, I don't know. His last fight was kind of frustrating against Battle. Even though I was on Battle in that fight, I thought he had plenty of opportunities to seize the momentum in that fight and win that fight, but he kind of just accepted position of getting pushed up against the cage and getting held there, and was kind of fine with that, which I don't know why, or why you would just let him do that, and why not circle off and start landing, because he was clearly gassed and he clearly just wanted to hold you up there. But I mean, not the smartest IQ, but I mean, really good kickboxing, really good striking. I mean, I like Randy Brown. He's a decent fighter, and Dalby is just that junkyard dog. He's gonna keep coming. He's got the 15 minutes. He probably wins round 3 at a pretty high clip here. He's gonna walk forward. He's gonna try to do kind of what Battle does. I mean, he's gonna try to close the distance, and and push Brown up against the cage, and make it an ugly, dirty junkyard fight. That's what he does. He makes all these fights close, and it's kind of hard to go against him. I'm tired of fading this guy, and then every time you're just you're sweating it, and you don't know if you won or you lost. Every fight is close. Was looking at a Dalby plus 3.5. Maybe that's probably a nice play. But ultimately, I do think Randy probably gets the job done here. But I don't know. I don't got a lot of confidence in this one. I'm tired of getting burned by Dalby, man.
Yeah,
this
man.
It's always just,
Yeah, it's tough not to click the button at the 2-to-1 price. But I'm with you. I do think Randy technically has the skills to beat him. He's got those long knees, which could be a problem. He could catch Dalby with one of those knees up the middle. He does, he's going to have, a decent size advantage. So he should be able to win at range. But yeah, it's a close one. I am interested to see what that 3.5 comes back at. I mean, it's Dalby was like minus 230 or plus 230 when I saw it, so it might not be a bad price.
No, I think people are going to be on that. I don't think we're going to get a good price. I think it's probably going to be like minus 170, minus 200.
Yeah, it could be. But if it was somewhere in like the minus 130, minus 120 range, that's a solid. I'd probably bet that. But,
yeah, that's a bet for me at that number. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a close fight. I mean, I was tempted to go Dalby here just because, like you said, I mean, I thought he won his last fight. I thought he got robbed. I mean, he landed all the big damage. I thought he should have won. But, he's just one of those guys that it's going to be close. He's not a killer. He doesn't dominate anywhere. So those decisions are always tough, but you want to talk about a guy that's going to fight for your money. I mean, Nicholas Dalby is that guy. So yeah, my lean is Randy Brown. I think Brown.
He's not a killer. He starched Bonfim.
Well, yeah. I mean, Bonfim was gassed after that first round, but I mean, generally speaking, he's not going to bludgeon anybody. But that's what he does. He gets guys tired, and then he becomes a killer when he gets them tired. But he's not like a great striker. He's not a great grappler. He's good everywhere. And, he's just got that dog in him, which is a nice skill to have. So, but yeah, I think Randy Brown is the rightful favorite. And it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be, I mean, I could see this one being a split again. So tough one for sure.
Yep.
All right, our next fight is in the middleweight division. again, two guys, gas tanks. No, I question both of their gas tanks. Both have power, good strikers. Both, can grapple. Abu's probably the better grappler of the two, but we've got Michelle Pereira taking on Abus Magomedov. This one, another one that I kind of went back and forth on. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is two guys with kind of questionable cardio, right? I mean, we've seen Pereira. I mean, he had success against Fluffy in the first round for like 2 minutes, and then just like after that, he just completely like fell off a cliff. That was a weird fight, kind of a bad look. I mean, he didn't give up. He just continued to get bludgeoned. I mean, he showed a lot of heart there.
Yeah.
I had thought his cardio was improved, because he would look really, really good up until that. He was on a run,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually on him in that Fluffy fight. What an idiot.
Yes, so was I. Very regretful.
So, I mean, before the Fluffy fight, I mean, he was putting fools on ice. He looked really good. I like his striking, explosive, I mean, he's not really doing much of the stupid shit anymore, the back fucking flips and all that, but I mean, he's got good power in his hands. I mean, he's going to want to keep this on the feet and, and catch a boost. And, a boost is, I don't know, man. It's like we've seen him gas out that one time against Strickland, and, he has slowed down in fights, but I mean, he did go deep with Kyle. He got that round 3 sub against fucking brick Ferreira. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just not too high on the boost. I don't know. This is a tough one. But ultimately, I did land on the Pereira side, Michel Pereira. I think he finds the button and puts him away. Knocks him out. So the pick for me is Pereira. The advantage for a boost would be to get the takedowns, and kind of. I mean, but really, can he sustain that for 15 minutes at a grappling heavy pace?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I was starting to lean towards a boost because I thought maybe his cardio would be the better of the two, and he could grapple, but when you really break it down, that Ferreira fight, the second round, he was in a lot of trouble. And to me, the way he was able to get takedowns against Ferreira, he was able to eventually sub him. But, Bruno's another guy. He's muscle bound. He's, his cardio also not the greatest. So he was able to kind of get those takedowns. Some of them were ugly, but he was able to find those takedowns because Ferreira's, his cardio is not the greatest either. And really, when you're watching that, you think if that was Fluffy in there, he gets ragdolled and destroyed, just like we saw with Pereira. So, I don't know if he can grapple, but Pereira's grappling defense, he can be taken down, but he does scramble well. And despite the fact that he was absolutely gassed after the first round against Fluffy, he did continue to fight. He did continue to throw, and he landed a few big shots in there, but, Fluffy just, the pressure was just too much. So I think they're kind of the same guy, but I think when they're both tired, I think Pereira is going to be the guy that's able to push through a little bit better. And Abus definitely leaves his chin out there. He got cracked a bunch by Ferreira. So it was really close. I was tempted to go with the boost here, but I just think Pereira, I don't know. I think maybe the moment got to him. It was a main event. It was weird. He had a lot of success. And it was funny because there was that moment where he landed a big shot on Fluffy, and Fluffy just shook his head like, "You're not hurting me anymore." And you could
but he looked hurt.
It seemed like it drained him. Like he was like, "Oh shit, he's still here," and like that was it. So I think maybe a learning experience there. He has looked great at 185. Both guys are very questionable, but I do think Pereira is just gonna be able to find a way to get this one done.
Yeah.
All right. Our next fight is in the featherweight division. Another good one here. Got Giga Chikadze taking on David Onama. Both guys, good strikers. Onama is another one of those all action. He gives a lot and takes a lot. He lands over 5 strikes a minute and absorbs over 5 strikes a minute. Giga, on the other hand, very technical, sharp striker, not as much volume, but hard to hit and definitely packs a punch. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this should be a fun one. I don't know what to expect from Giga anymore. I mean, it's his last couple of fights. He hasn't looked the greatest. I mean, the Calvin Kattar fight just absolutely got just destroyed.
Yeah,
and then he took some time off, and then he came back against Arnold Allen, and he did great in that first round against Allen, and then just completely gassed after like 5 minutes. It was kind of strange. He just I have real questions about Giga's cardio, and when the fight gets extended, I mean, I could see him having a lot of success here in round one. We know the Giga kicks and, really technical, sharp striking, low volume. But, it's how can you be low volume and gas so bad? Like, he was, like, completely cooked in that Arnold Allen fight. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that life-changing beat. I mean, that Calvin Kattar fight was a life-changing beat.
That was wild.
That was So yeah, I really don't know what to expect from Giga anymore. You got to think he's going to come out and have a strong first round, but can he sustain that and over multiple rounds? I'm not too sure anymore. And then Onama, like you said, kind of the guy who's going to walk forward. I mean, he has decent power in his hands. He can be hit, as we've seen in the Romero fight that we talked about earlier. Romero cracked him and dropped him early. But then he also cracked Romero and dropped him in the same round. So, it's he's give or take. And I think Giga's definitely going to have the technical advantage here, but I think Onama's definitely going to have the power advantage. I think Onama's best path here would be to go for takedowns here and take Giga down and drain that gas tank and maybe land some ground and pound. I mean, he has been looking for some subs, so I mean, I definitely think his path here would be to go for takedowns, and I think the later the fight goes, I think the takedowns will come easy. If he could just survive that first 7.5 minutes from Giga, I think he takes over and probably wins. I don't know if he finishes them, but I can see him getting takedowns late here, stealing a round. One first round, Giga wins. Onama wins 2 and 3. Give me Onama.
Yeah, so I came into this on Giga, but you're kind of talking me out of it. But so the reason why I'm on Giga as we speak is because I do think, technically speaking, he's going to be able to use his footwork and his jab to keep the distance. And Onama definitely has been cracked in the past. We saw that Nate Landwehr fight. He was that was a wild fight. Got hurt in that fight. Didn't officially. They don't have it ruled as a knockdown, but I swore he got knocked down in that fight. But that was a war. I don't know. I give Giga a little bit of credit for the Arnold Allen fight. I mean, Arnold Allen is a guy that's right at the precipice of a title shot. Just hasn't been able to quite get there. But I think the technical ability of Giga, basically, if he wins this fight, it would be because he kept the range and maybe snipes Onama at some point, hurts him. I do think if he does hurt him like Romero did, he's not going to go to the ground with him. He's gonna welcome him back to the feet and try to knock him out. So I'm rolling with Giga just for the technical aspect. I think the footwork and the jab is going to do a lot of good work. But like you said, as the fight goes on, Onama is a guy that puts up good volume. He does have the ability to grapple. We've seen Giga get taken down in the past, so the path is definitely there for Onama. But as we speak, I'm going to roll with Giga, and yeah, we'll see what we get from there. All right, our next fight is in the light heavyweight division. We've got Anthony Smith in his retirement fight taking on Zhang Mingyang, who's just a power puncher, first round finisher. Anthony Smith has not looked great. He does surprise every once in a while and finish some up and comers with his grappling. Maybe that's a possibility here, but I don't know. I think he's pretty well down the road. This is retirement fight, and he may want to check out early. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, why? Why are you still fighting? Is what I want to know. You're cooked, man. You got a nice desk job. You got your family. Why? He's pretty much washed. He's cooked. He's got nothing left, man. And this is just sad. These guys just don't know when to go. But I mean, I guess he's gonna give it a shot here. I mean, he did pull off that that sub on Vitor Petrino, which I mean, it's something, I guess. And I would put Petrino on a similar level as Ming Yang Zhang. Wouldn't you? Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess he can grapple here, and I think if it's on the feet, he's going to have a long night. So I think the path would be for him to mix in the grappling here, and get it going like that. But I don't know what he's got, man. This guy could just take a punch and just fold over and just be ready to go. And, Ming Yang Zhang is kind of like, I don't know how good this guy is. He's pretty much crushing cans. All the guys he's fought in the UFC have been pretty much shit. I mean, he hasn't fought anybody good. This is by far the best fighter he's ever fought. So it's like, I don't know what to expect. This guy's a round one guy. All of his finishes are pretty much in round one. So if Smith can stay safe, if he extend this fight, how is Zhang going to look outside of round one? We don't know. I mean, this guy's just bludgeoning everybody in round one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Anthony Smith is the guy to do that, though, man, to push Zhang here. I don't like the money line price, and it's just because it's a lot of question marks and unknowns, even though I do think Smith is done. But, I mean, you never know. He could pull off a Vitor Petrino sub, and then we all look stupid, But, yeah, the pick for me is Zhang, and probably Zhang round one. Probably starches him and gets him out of there, but I don't know. I don't like Zhang. I'm not high on Zhang.
Yeah, I'm not high on him either. He definitely has the knockout power, and Anthony Smith is not taking damage like he used to. I mean, we've seen him get beat pretty bad. I mean, the Dominic Reyes fight was. I mean, obviously Dominic Reyes is a much better fighter than Zhang, at least I think. It just hasn't been a good look. Like you said, I mean, he definitely could just walk away. I mean, he's had a good career. He's made a lot of money. He's got a job with the UFC. It's kind of crazy that they match him up with a guy like this who's, basically his path is just to knock him out. It's like
and murder him. What do they want they want Anthony Smith carried out on a fucking stretcher? Yeah. Is that what they want?
You want this guy to have his bearings when he's breaking down fights for you, but I don't know. My hope is if he does get knocked out, maybe he gets cracked and dropped, and it's just one of those. He just kind of shells up and it's over. I don't want to see him get brutally knocked out. He's done too much for the UFC. He's put on a lot of good fights for us as fans. So I really don't want to see him go out in a bad way. But I just think if he can't get the grappling going, it's gonna be rough. And it is what it is. I think I think the knockout's definitely on the table here early.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight is the main event, and it's a good one. Got Ian Garry taking on Carlos Prates. Garry is, he's kind of impressed. People, we've all kind of had questions with him, but he's looked pretty good. I mean, he looked even good in his loss against Shavkat. He had opportunities there. Nearly had that rear naked choke. Carlos Prates is, I've kind of called him the Pereira of the welterweight division. He's, he kind of methodical movements, and then out of nowhere, guys are looking up at the ceiling and the fight's over. He's got that killer power. He hasn't fought, the best level of competition, so this is obviously the best guy he's fought in the UFC. But the Fighting Nerds have been absolutely on a roll. I was dumb enough to pick Bryce Mitchell against Gene Silva. That looked really bad in hindsight. So it's tough to fade these guys, but man, Ian Garry is really good. So what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I like this fight. This is a fun fight. This is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Initially, before tape, I thought, man, Ian Garry in a pick'em. Yeah, give me that Ian Garry. But after looking into it more, rewatching that Shavkat fight was shit. I mean, he didn't look good. I mean, he had one good moment where he looked good within like 2 minutes of the fifth round, and that was it. Other than that, I don't think he looked good at all. I think Shavkat didn't even look like himself. I mean, he was probably injured. That was the worst I've ever seen Shavkat fight, and we're giving this guy credit for having his Shavkat's back for 2 minutes and saying he put in a good performance. I mean, he didn't do shit on the feet. I mean, he hardly did anything in that fight. And Ian Garry, MVP, the MVP fight. The MVP fight in the third round, he got out grappled by MVP for 2 minutes and got fortunate enough to get a reversal and get his back and hold him there. Yeah, he had some opportunities to catch the sub, but he couldn't even sub. Fucking MVP was probably a blue belt or a white belt, whatever the fuck it is,
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you won that fight. I'll give you that fight, but you could have lost that fight. Song Kanon fight fucking gets. I mean, if Proctus hits Garry the way Song Kanon hit him and dropped him and hurt him, he's going to sleep. Jordan Williams had a lot of success, early in that fight, was touching him up, piecing him up in his debut.
Yeah.
Garry fights with that tall man's defense where he pulls back and he leaves his chin right fucking there to get fucking hit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I think he's relatively low volume on the street feet. The striking is pretty good. I mean, the grappling, obviously he's made improvements since he went to shoot a box with Diego Lima and Charles Oliveira. So we've seen kind of the grappling improvements in his game. I would hope he would improve over there, but I don't know. I don't know about Garry. I still got question marks on Garry. He's real cocky. I mean, the guy hung a picture in his house of fucking him almost finishing Shavkat, dude.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, that's fucking pretty pathetic to me. Practice, the guy's just a sniper. The guy's a killer. I mean, he's barely fucking touching guys and he's putting them to sleep. Did you see? I mean, the shot he put Neil Magny out with, he barely touched him and he fucking slept him. Like, that was pretty impressive to me. Nobody does that to Neil Magny. Nobody one punch. Like, he barely even hit him.
Yeah.
The Leech fight. Super impressed with that Leech fight. Nobody ever knocks out Leech. What do? He went in there and beat down Leech pillar to post. This guy is just, this guy is just a sharpshooter, man. And, his takedown defense, he has a really good sprawl game. It's really hard to take him down. You can get him to the mat, but, he's pretty much popping up instantly back on his feet, and, we got questions like, how is he going to look if the fight gets extended? Of course, they were always going to have that. I think, we really don't know what to expect. He's at a good camp. He's training with Kyle. So, he's got that big 185 grappling body in there to help him out. He's got, initially I thought Ian Garry was going to be the side for me, but going into tape and looking deep into it, because I was off one of these days from work, so I really did a deep dive into this one, and I ended up on Prates. I think eventually he finds the button. Or, I mean, I think he could even win a decision. I wouldn't even be surprised if he were to get some reversals in the grappling and end up on top and holding Ian Garry down. I mean, if MVP is holding you down for 2 minutes in the round, what do you think Prates could do?
Right.
So yeah, I think Prates. I'm going to be on Prates. The bet is Prates for me. Just bet the money line. I don't know if he knocks him. He probably knocks him out, but I'll just bet the money line just in case if he wins 3 rounds out of this.
Yeah,
which I think is possible. So
I think there could be that could actually be great value. I mean, you make great points with MVP obviously is a dangerous striker. You don't want to play games with him on the feet, but he had moments in that fight where Garry looked like
he hardly threw a punch.
Exactly.
He hardly threw a punch.
There was no volume there, and so obviously MVP is a very scary guy, but at this point in his career, I don't think he's more scary than Prates on the feet. So I'm not sure how willing Garry is going to be to stand and trade. And like you said, you want to take this guy down. He comes from a great camp of nasty grapplers, so it's not going to be easy.
We all thought Bryce Mitchell was going to be able to take down Gene Silva.
Yeah, I thought Bryce could get him down. I thought he'd get him down for sure. That just wasn't even remotely close to happening. I mean, the Fighting Nerds, man, they're a hot team right now, and Garry is very skilled, but really the MVP fight is the one that sticks out the most, because that's the most closely related in terms of a striker who's got that one punch snipe type power. But even like that with MVP, he's not the same guy that we saw years ago. He just doesn't seem to have as much as he used to.
He was fighting Bellator guys, low-level Bellator
Yeah, right.
guys.
That's true, too. I mean, he wasn't fighting the highest level of guy either. But, I mean, I think Prates, like I said, I mean, to me, he's like the Poatan of 170, just, kind of stoic and methodical movements. And, you can hit him with a flurry, land some shots on him. Looks like he's losing. And next thing you know, he's winning. And he's got 5 rounds to find the button. We've seen Ian Garry wobbled many times. We've seen him rocked pretty bad at times. I mean, I have to agree. I think Prates probably at some point is going to catch him. But if he doesn't, I'm not sure Gary's going to be willing enough to throw enough volume to beat him over, 5 rounds, striking. And I'm not convinced that he's going to be able to grapple either. I think Gary's got some nice grappling. He's got some slick grappling, but when you're training with one of the best middleweights in the world, who's primarily a grappler, you're gonna get better. So I think Prates, he's just got everything he needs to win this fight. And
Gary's talking a lot of shit too.
Yeah, he is. It is funny too, because like he has elevated himself like the rest of the MMA world, like even myself, like giving him credit for a loss. But it's just like, it was still a loss, and he still lost a majority of that fight. You just happened to, have a couple moments in the fight. But so I don't know, maybe a little overconfident coming into this one. But I think Prates at some point, I think he probably finds the button. And this guy's a killer, man. I can't bet against this guy until I see otherwise. It's just he's just one of those guys. So I mean, we're on the same page here, and that'll do it. It's going to be a fun card. A lot of fights that could go either way. A lot of finishes possible. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, we will be live, as we always are. We've got the NFL draft all weekend, so that'll be fun to monitor. NBA playoffs going on right now. Yeah, we got a lot going on. We got NASCAR back. NASCAR was the Cup Series was off last week. We got Talladega this week, so not an easy race to bet, but we'll do what we can there. And yeah, that's it. Johnny, if you got anything else to add, let us know. Otherwise, we'll get out of here.
Yeah, it should be a fun weekend. Got some good boxing going on, NBA playoffs. So yeah, it should be fun.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, share the video with a friend, and good luck this weekend.